The three daunting new house horror stories began when Jake moved into his family's new home. He was excited, but soon discovered that the house held dark secrets. The first of the three daunting new house horror stories started on the very first night. As Jake lay in bed, he heard faint whispers coming from the walls. At first, he thought it was just the wind, but the whispers became clearer. They spoke his name. Jake? Jake? He bolted upright, heart pounding. The whispers continued, growing louder. Terrified, Jake ran to his parents' room, but they dismissed it as his imagination. The next day, he found scratches on his bedroom wall, as if someone or something had been trying to claw its way out. The second of the three daunting new house horror stories occurred a week later. Jake was exploring the basement when he found an old, dusty doll. It looked out of place, but he brought it upstairs. That night, he heard the sound of a child crying. He followed the sound to the basement, where the doll now sat in the middle of the floor. The crying stopped when Jake picked up the doll, but a cold hand grasped his ankle. He looked down to see the pale, ghostly face of a child staring up at him. Jake screamed and ran upstairs, leaving the doll behind. The crying never stopped, and he could hear it echoing through the house every night. The final of the three daunting new house horror stories began when Jake found an old mirror in the attic. It was covered in a thick layer of dust, but he cleaned it and hung it in his room. That night, as he was brushing his teeth, he glanced at the mirror and saw a shadowy figure standing behind him. He turned around, but no one was there. The figure appeared every night, growing clearer each time. It was a tall, dark silhouette with piercing red eyes. One night, the figure stepped out of the mirror. Jake screamed, but no sound came out. The figure reached out to him, and everything went black. Jake woke up the next morning on the floor, the mirror shattered. His parents decided to move out after that, unable to deny the horrors anymore. The three daunting new house horror stories were enough to drive anyone away. Jake never forgot the whispers, the crying, or the figure in the mirror. They haunted him, reminding him of the terrifying truth. Some houses are better left alone.